What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream, where we're working on our Gas Course project, a game built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, of course, the Blueprints gameplay ability system plugin, and C++ and all that good stuff. So, last time we were doing more of a design-oriented stream, and this time I want to get back into actual development, and we might do like a ping-pong back and forth between design streams and actual implementation streams, as we're trying to prototype our new features here. So the big system and feature I want to design and implement together is the deck building elements of this action game. So of course we need to do a couple things. So we know we want to create a set of cards. The player has a deck of cards. You can execute and play these cards, and they give you buffs, they grant you abilities, they can counter spell what the AI is doing, for example. So we're going to still design a bunch of this stuff on paper, but I like to get my hands dirty as fast as possible and try to prove it as fast as possible to see if we can make it interesting or make it fun and kind of build it from there. So honestly, I don't have anything right now with this mechanic. There's no cards, there's no deck, there's no nothing. So I have to think about, at least on paper right now, is what is a card, right? So I wonder if I don't have the Figma page, so let me get Figma open. Because I'll have to just design on a board, and we'll kind of look into it further. So I'm going to just do some base thinking here. So again, Figma being the garbage application that it is, let's see if I can copy and paste. No, right? So awesome. I don't know what it is with Figma. Figma, it just kills me on the inside, right? So, I copy and I paste over here. Yes. Okay. Can I delete all this crap? Yeah. So this is section 9. Grab this. We could be like, what is a card, right? And we're talking technically speaking. So obviously a card is, in my opinion, a card is an ability set, because that contains gameplay effects, that could be attributes, and that could be gameplay abilities, the most important thing. It's also a description of the card. We probably would want to get as much dynamic information as possible in this card. So dynamic numbers based on current context, as descriptive as necessary. We don't want to bloat with a bunch of text, right? So a description, it's also a type. So this could be described as like either a color, an icon, some easy identifier at first glance, right? Because the player won't be 100% focused on what the cards that they have at the moment in case combat gets kind of crazy. So we want there to be some easily identifiable aspect of it. So I wonder if this can be some sort of custom data struct and data table. And then, because like I'm wondering if like if a card should be a data asset, it has to be some object. Well, maybe it doesn't have to be an object, but it has to be some encapsulation of data that can be easily read by our systems. So I'm wondering if a deck of cards in this instance is an array of data assets that points to some data row, and that data row is your ability set, and it's your your text, your icons, and things like that. So I pretty much have to ask that question as well, like what is a deck of cards? Just move that over here. An array of cards. Is this an array of data assets? There also has to be some, I guess, hidden data about these cards. Like how many times they've been used and if they're unlocked. So there has to be some additional data. Because there's not going to be any sort of, as of right now, there's no cost into playing a card. But maybe that's actually a potentially interesting gaining mechanic, where you have a certain amount of points per, like, at the start of the wave to play as many cards, and you gain these points back over time or based off of how well you're playing. Now that I think about that, that doesn't sound too bad. So can we gate card use by some sort of resource? Like obviously you'll have cards in your hand. I don't know. Could certain cards have a certain cost? So, for example, like land in Magic the Gathering. So, yeah, additional things. So hold on, I need to take a quick break. I know I've only been streaming for 10 minutes, but I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. We're back. Yeah, I like to continue this train of thought. So land and Magic the Gathering, maybe resource is replenished between waves or rounds. Put it over here, or probably better over here since it's a tall boy. Resource is gained based off of performance. Some connection to what do I call it? Yeah, score and ranking system. Maybe some progression as well. I kind of like that thought. And then you can have, you know, a card that says, you know, reduce. Hey, thanks for the follower. Enter the Arcane, much appreciated. So you could have some cards that say, okay, reduce costs of these types of cards by half, or all cards by half. Or the enemy AI plays a card that says, okay, all costs are double for you, and you're like, oh, fuck, okay. And then you kind of have to deal with that. So card cost. Additional info. So card cost. Maybe there's the max use before unlocking. And then, you know, counter of usages. Pool is active or something. No, is applied as permanent. So yeah, once I have a better idea about, you know, what my card types are, maybe that will help justify like coloring. But yeah, I also think about like, you know, UI and stuff like that. I am getting a good amount of information here. So I think that's enough to go by for now. So obviously we need two things at the moment. We need some sort of component, I'd imagine, on the player, like a deck component that would basically have two aspects to it, I guess. Like, or a couple, maybe a few different ones. There could be, you know, there's the deck, like cards in queue, the current cards in your hand, and the cards in your discard pile or something like that, right? So I'm assuming the deck manager component would handle that. I don't know, like, because each individual AI, you know, like this dummy, for example, wouldn't have cards. There would just be like a, you know, a higher being kind of playing the cards on the enemy side, some other invisible opponent, right? And you would be seeing his plays like at the top, or you just see global announcements being like, okay, you know, all enemies are dealing damage twice as much, or all damage is fire damage, or, you know, whatever it might be. So that's like the goal. So yeah, I think some sort of deck manager. I just don't know if it would be a player like subsystem or if a component makes sense, because it would kind of work like an inventory more or less. Like, there's gonna be a couple of things that are inventory based, like, you know, if we decide to have multiple types of weapons, or if you have armor pieces or something, which I don't know if I want. Like, obviously there could be, you know, some customization involved and stuff like that, but for this initial prototype, I don't think that really matters. So let's stop fucking around. So component on player state, maybe that could make sense. That definitely makes sense, because there has to be some persistency. It has to be saved. It has to exist between levels and stuff. So yeah, I think player state is actually a very good call. So either player state or player subsystem. So we'll go with the component. We'll make it on the player state. I think that's a good call there. Enter the Arcane, much appreciated. So let's go ahead and so we basically need to make 2 classes at the moment. No, it's not going to be multiplayer. We tried making this project multiplayer, but it's too much overhead and work and stuff. I just don't want it to be multiplayer. But if you have player state, I believe player state is persistent. Let's ask ChatGPT just to be confirming here. Because if I'm not mistaken, that should be the case. Game instance is persistent across level transitions. Game mode. I thought player state would work. So it's created across hard level transitions. Okay. Okay, so I could tie it into save game if you annotate the U properties with save game and tie it into use save game. Okay, so there's potential there. I can also store the data, I guess, in the game instance. But that could also be tied to save game. Yeah, we'll have to see, because how I imagine the game is, you know, you're in some sort of arena, and, you know, you do your waves, you go through your rounds, you win, then you're brought into, like, I guess a hub world of sorts, where you can then upgrade your character, change your deck, upgrade your deck, upgrade your abilities, stuff like that. And then you go into the next round. It could be the same arena, it could be a different arena, and then rinse and repeat on and on like that. So there's definitely going to be some traveling between worlds in that sense. So just having it be a game instance subsystem seems way easier. Okay. Well, I guess still on the. I guess there should be. I guess like a deck builder subsystem, and then like a individual deck component on the player. So like the the deck builder subsystem tracks everything, and then when you start playing, it instantiates your component with these cards, and then then I can read from the player's component these cards, and then save it and everything. So maybe there's a need for everything. So like overall like deck manager, game instance subsystem, and a player component. We'll have to see. So for the sake of having everything, let's make the subsystem. We'll make sure it's there. Let's make the component and let's add it to our player. And let's create what we believe a card should be. And I believe a card should be a data asset. And then that data asset could link to maybe just a data table, like a specific row in the data table. Yeah, maybe. So let's do C++ class. So game instance subsystem. But we're also gonna have to do a save game subsystem at some point. I've never really handled that before. So I don't know, game instance. There's manager, cheat manager, camera manager. I have a subsystem already, right? There should be systems, subsystem. So deck manager. Do a primary data asset. Having primary asset ID is nice, so you can load it using the asset manager. That you could basically say get all card objects when the game loads. This is nice for testing because you can create a command like give card X and it'll look up the card object. Yeah, okay, we could try that. Little by little. Thanks for the suggestions, I appreciate that. So deck manager game instance subsystem. Okay, yeah, long enough name, I suppose. Okay, so yeah, it's doing a hot reload. Just gotta check something here. So I have this AI assistant within Writer and it's not working. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Don't mind me. No, I can't do it right now. Okay. We don't need it. So we got the subsystem, right? Now we need see, okay. I use JetBrains as well, even at work. But I don't really code at work. I just use blueprints and state trees and stuff. Okay, so now my assumption is I need to have some sort of actor component. Does it have to be an actor component, or can it just be a component? What kind of components are there? I forget. UI compliance. Yeah. Where do you work? I work at CD Projekt Red. So yeah, we'll do actor component, I suppose. There should be a components. By character and components, right? And we'll say deck manager component. So we create that. Also, you can create new classes from within Writer rather than the new C++ class window UI, and it's far more convenient in your opinion. This is at this point a force of habit, so it's probably going to be less convenient for me to learn something new at this point. But maybe we could try it. So, file, or is it like, create a folder and you have to be like, add class construct or Unreal class. Yeah, maybe that's what you'd have to do. So we could try that. So I'd have to make a new folder for the card, I believe. Because there's character data. So maybe under data there could be like a card thing, but I'll make a new folder. Add directory. So card. Add, I guess, Unreal class. And then we gotta find which class to do, and then it's gonna be data asset. We said try to do a primary data asset. So we're gonna say card data asset. Source, private, public, sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that is a lot convenient. You're right. Let's see. Let's hope I remember to do that from going on. It's just an old force of habit. So we have all those things now. So now we need to start doing stuff. Let's not worry about that at the moment. What do we need to do now? So we need to. So recently we created C++ that will be built only after building the project. Don't show again. I understand. So yeah, no core minimal on there. So I believe in here we're gonna need an enumerator probably for the card type. Oh yeah, I don't have the AI. I think I might have to restart Writer. Let me restart Writer and see what's happening. Because I do enjoy using the AI tool to generate documentation for me automatically. That's always a cash money option. It's also clean our recycling bin, of course. We'll let Writer do its thing for a few moments here. So yeah, apologies for restarting Writer. It's gonna take a couple moments, I think, and it probably wasn't worth it. Yeah, so I think I need to manage the subscription for this thing. Alright. Hey Talos, how's it going? I'll be right back in just a sec. Your boy is back. You're working with gas? What are you up to these days, Talos? What are you working on? Alright. Had to update our subscription there. Hopefully all is Gucci now. Okay, save. Does it automatically update? So I can use it again? Now I gotta renew it, I guess. Alright. See how long it takes. Oh boy. So I should be okay. Okay, we'll worry about that later, I guess. So we have everything, more or less, right? We have our subsystem, we have our component. Now, we have to go into our player. We gotta add this kind of component. View property. Is it's visible anywhere? Blueprint, read only, category, deck management. Then we could say class, U, deck manager component, deck manager component. Probably gonna fail, right? Probably. I'm still not sure what game I want to make. I'm stuck between two ideas. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes a lot of the time, not knowing which one to do. Oh, my neck. It's it's hard to pick, right? Honestly, you don't have to share what you want to do, but I guess follow your heart and see where it goes. Did you find good examples for real-time combat with card mechanics? No. I kind of stopped researching just because of time and being busy with other stuff. I gotta keep doing some research. I'm gonna meet up with my friend this weekend online and see if she's found any interesting references to look at. I have both a custom player controller and player state classes, yes. Oh yeah, didn't we see where we were going to put this on the player state? Doesn't matter if we're going to be doing a subsystem then? I don't remember. I don't know. Because yeah, maybe it would need to be on that instead of the character. Like, I feel like the player state would make sense, but again, if it's not persistent, we kind of have to read it to the game instance manager, then maybe it won't matter. Yeah, maybe this shouldn't really be here. So yeah, let's put it on the player state. So I guess we should have a separate section for this stuff. So like that. Yeah, I still have replication mode and things are replicated back when it was supposed to still be multiplayer. I'll have to eventually turn that stuff off because there's also this update frequency crap that I don't think is really needed. Game, is it systems? No. Yeah. Guess it's not needed. We'll see. Let's try compiling it and see what happens. Oh, it added it for me already? Okay. Sick. You're right. So let me just say test. Okay, so the AI assistant's still working again. Okay. It's okay. Backseat coding is fine with me. As long as we're all learning, having fun, and chilling, that's all that really matters, so don't think too much about it. So now let's double check everything once it loads, of course. Like, now does this generate documentation? Or does it still fail? Oh, now it does. Okay. So we don't need the player. So now let's open up our character, player, state. And here is our deck manager. Obviously it is empty. So now we have to think what we have to do. Like, we have a card. So we need to... We basically have to start giving the data to the card, right? So, like, the card itself is where we're gonna have to do some of the work at the moment. So here's our card data asset, right? So we need, like I said, it's probably going to be, so yeah, cards are going to be a couple different things. Talos, I'll kind of go over a little bit of what I'm thinking, because what I want, because a lot of references for like Clair Obscur, because just played it, but also some references to Devil May Cry. But essentially, I want cards to be your primary way of amplifying your capabilities in combat. So this can mean granting abilities. This can mean duration-based modifiers. This can mean, replenishing resources like health or whatever other resources there can be. There can be also counter spells or counter cards, because I want there to be like a AI opponent that is not just those enemies that you're fighting with your character, with your sword and spells and everything, but just some overarching AI that's also playing cards, and their cards amplify the powers of the enemies that they're spawning. They can counter what your abilities are doing. They can make your cooldowns longer. They can do a lot of stuff to kind of prevent you from doing good. So then you can use cards to counter those cards. Or you can rely solely on your abilities to kind of counteract what's going on. So I want there to be kind of two layers of the combat. One being the card layer, the meta layer. And then the other one is the actual in your hands, you're playing with your character and you're fighting these enemies. And I want there to be, ranking and scores. So like, kind of like in Clair Obscur, Devil May Cry, like, as you're performing well, you'll get higher ranks, you'll get higher score. And so when you get higher ranks, your cards, kind of like also with Verso's mechanics, cards can have multiple effects depending on your rank. So if you have an S rank, these things can do this thing or that thing. If you have lower rank, it does some base thing. And then as you use cards more and more, you'll eventually be able to unlock them. So you can unlock ability cards that you can then permanently slot into your ability slots. You can unlock permanent ability passives that you can then slot into those things. So like you can have like 4 abilities, for example, each with 5 passive slots. And as you're using more and more cards, you unlock them permanently into those slots. And then you can replace those cards in your deck with new things to unlock, or kind of make your deck more focused then eventually to counter spells and these certain types of buffs and stuff like that. That's eventually the idea. So we'll see how it goes. So now we're really much in the very beginning stages. Okay, that's kind of creepy because the AI is replacing some of this stuff. Like it has an automatic thing of like card image path, card type, card name, card description. And that's kind of what I wrote in my Figma board. So it's kind of creepy. But I also need to create, and I don't know where I should create this struct, because I want to create a struct for what a card is, and then create like a data table for those cards. So there could just be a whole table of all possible cards, and there could possibly be like a player one and then an enemy one, because I'm not sure if like the AI cards would work the same as the player cards. So that's another aspect. And then basically, yeah, between each round and each, you'll be fighting in waves of enemies, and after each round, X amount of waves, X amount of enemies, you go into some hub world, and that's where you can respec your character, use points to upgrade base attributes, buy new cards, update your kit, maybe have build loadouts and stuff like that. And so you spend your points on these upgrades and these new cards, and then you kind of rinse and repeat. That's kind of the loop I'm looking at the moment. So hopefully, I think there's potential in it. I hope it's fun. We're gonna find out as we make it. So yeah. So again, let's look at our card. So I don't know if the card data asset should have this custom struct, or if the management system should have this kind of struct, or there should just be, like a deck class that just holds this information. Just trying to think where would be the best. So I could maybe have just like a bare bones, deck data class or something like that. Because there's the card data asset, and then there's card data. Maybe the data asset should just have it. Not sure. So add new class, new object. So maybe it should be in a new thing called deck. Deck data. I don't want to do that. So I wonder if does it have to be a class? I wonder, can I just have like a general just data class where I can just define my structs and stuff? So use struct, my struct. So F card data, and this would be, yeah, I don't know if it would need to be like F text, like so I could do things localized or something like that. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about this idea. Wonder if others have an opinion. Like, I wonder if there's other games that have done this in the same way. I know there's turn-based games that do these kind of things, but I'm wondering in this kind of context if it's unique. So yeah, card description will need to be something unique later on. Have you ever played Slay the Spire? That is one of the references, yeah. But I've never played it. I just know about it. But yeah, I should probably play it. Do I have it already? I do have it. Might as well install it. Could you explain what the purpose of a deck is again? Is it an asset type that you store cards the player can use, or is it a runtime thing that contains what the player has in their deck? So the deck is basically what holds each individual card, and each card is what is activated when the player uses it, and that is what grants abilities, gameplay effects, and things like that. So I guess it's, I don't know. I don't know if it needs to be an asset type. Like I'm hoping the deck can just be a component, and it's just the whole array of the cards the player has. Maybe we can look at a trailer of Slay the Spire. Yeah, it's definitely a nice looking game, and like I don't know if I want to because like all the mechanics are kind of built in to the cards, right? But I want a very similar loop. So it'll be definitely a good reference, so you're definitely right. I'm definitely gonna try it out. I should download it on my Steam Deck, actually. I'm gonna uninstall it here and install it in my Steam Deck later. Definitely seems like a Steam Deck kind of game. So yeah, the card description is gonna have to be eventually something more robust. So I'm just going to put a comment here. This needs to be more than just an F text. It needs to have dynamic values written into the description based on current player attributes. Relics are very important of the game too. Okay. Based on current player attributes and modifiers. I'm definitely going to play that. Like, because on my Steam Deck right now, well, on the PC, I'm playing First Berserker. And then on the Steam Deck, I downloaded and I played for like 10 seconds. What is the name of that game? Let's see if I could see it. I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. I guess we'll go top to bottom, T to B, and read real quick. I still have to play Lias of P. Tunic. That's the other one that I downloaded on the Steam Deck. I didn't really play that much of it. People said that one's really good too, so I gotta check it out. Yeah, so I know FText does support that, but I'm just wondering, like, how am I going to, I guess, like, how do I create the appropriate formula for that uh, formatted string, you know? So, you could do does X damage points, but then I would want to potentially say something like, you know, increases your attack by 10%, and then next to it shows like what that value would be. So I would have to pull data from the character saying, okay, your current attack attribute is 12, and then 10% of that is whatever value. So I definitely need something more sophisticated. On Outriders, we did something kind of like that. I just don't remember at all because it's been a few years, but something is definitely doable, and I kind of had it set up in, like, I think I have it in my burn effect descriptor class. Like, I have this burn effect descriptor that's put into gameplay effects, and so I construct it in blueprints. So maybe it's doable outside of blueprints. I've never written something like this. But yeah, I think it would have to be in blueprints in some way. So there would have to be like some sort of like descriptor class or something. I just don't know how really that would work. Yeah. So we have card name, card description. We're gonna need to do enum. We're gonna call this e card type, and we're gonna say ability card, passive ability card, global passive card, consumable card, and then empty card, I guess. Let's see. Then now there's going to be the U property, card type, and then I guess an ability set. So that's my struct data. I don't know if I need to make a blueprint type or anything, just in case. So this is just the data class. I wonder if I need U class in here. Can I just have some shell of a object that is just this data? Like, do I need even U object? Let's see what happens. Because yeah, deck data.cpp is nothing. Let's see. I also haven't updated my development blog in so long. So you cannot use the raw enum name. Instead use t enum byte. Okay, so hopefully that's correct. I'm surprised I got that right. Let's see if I'm actually right. All right, we got ourselves a bot. Let's go ahead and ban them. Goodbye. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. So now in theory, let's say we have card management. Let's see, data table. So I should be able to data table. Is it card or deck? Oh no. So we don't really have card data. I forget, do I have to make something? I might have to put a specific flag in there to make it compatible with the data table. Let's ask online how to make duck compatible with data table. Actually, blah, 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 blah. You need to follow setup, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's a blueprint type. We got that. But remember, there needs to be some additional syntax here. So I need to inherit f table row base. Yep. So we need to inherit public f table row base. The sun is very bright today. No worries, Talos. We got ourselves a visitor from our balcony. Hey, Boo-Boo. No. We have a kitty. Say hi to everybody. So now we should be able to say game card management. Oh, she's leaving. Data tables, right click, miscellaneous, data table. Now we should see card. Yes, card data. We'll say DT cards, but we'll say player cards. Why do I have? Why is this going into like uncontrolled change list? Let's see what's wrong with my repro. So yeah, I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to hook everything up to GitHub. Obviously, I know I should be using some better source control stuff, but for now, it's whatever. I want to have a friend or two help me with the project. Hopefully, you know, she's helping me on the design side. Legacy stuff. Yeah, there's just some stuff that's just not. It's weird. I don't know. Another problem. Yeah, the interview for the tech demo was pretty awesome, right? It's cool seeing them do a deep dive of this kind of stuff. Hey. Is there a plugin for Git? Hey. What? We got ourselves a kitty on the desk. Hey. You guys are gonna get maybe some purrs into the microphone. Yeah, it's enabled, okay. Okay, we got the kitty. You can't see her, but she's very much present on my desk. Hey. She gets all the smooches in the world. She's the best kitty. Okay, so let's again not worry about this just yet. We're just distracting ourselves from our main goals here. So now we have DT cards, right? So now we should be able to add a row. And yeah, we immediately found a... No, we're okay. We're there. I wonder if I should make a... like a subset class. Of the ability asset or ability set, just so I don't put potentially wrong wrong assets in here? I wonder. So I wonder, I don't know, is this redundant work, for example? Like, should everything be in a data asset and then each entry in this data table is just a reference to that? I don't know. I can't get any work done with Boo Boo here. She looks so cute. Pardon me, Boo Boo. Yeah, go ahead. You can have the rest of the disc, I guess. I guess just for the sake of testing something, we can use the same kind of setup here. Oh, we got ourselves a new subscriber, Lily from YouTube. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. I bet she's just subscribing because of the kitty, which is fine. I can respect that. So my heart tells me we should have our own kind of subclass of this. So our ability set stuff is here. So I'm gonna add a real class. All classes. Can I make it of type U? Yes. Of course. Oh no. And then it could be base card gameplay ability set. This seems to handle everything, right? There is this give to ability system stuff here. Oh, looks like they are just here for the kitty, huh? I get it. Yeah, so what I could probably do now with this base card ability set, I could probably make a thing here. We want to say activate card. But yeah, I think the activate card actually does need to have the same stuff here. I wonder if it's redundant or if it's even necessary to have an identical kind of function. Like, I feel like it makes sense just so you can always just say activate card, you know what it kind of does, rather than saying give to ability system. I think it's okay to have that kind of thing. Just for verbosity and clarity. Isn't that right, Boo Boo? I don't know if I want this to be... blueprintable or anything, but we can just grab function. And then in our deck data, we call this U fit card. No, it's U base card gameplay ability set. And hopefully that's okay. Yes, we got ourselves a kitty. Her name is Lola, and she's the best. Inappropriate pointer on variable type. Granted, hand can have exposed for this type. Why? Oh, it's because it's a U function? Okay. Okay, syntax error, deck data, so you basically, card ability set, the pointer. Do I have to, I probably have to include it, huh? The kitty has left the desk. Hopefully that should be okay. Okay, so I'm going to ask the most important question anyone has asked all day. Okay, I'm ready, I'm ready. Okay, so there's circular dependency here. Oh, because I am in deck data already. What the hell? What am I thinking? Where do I need to be? Where did I put this? Is it in card? Oh, it's in card. Oh god. Okay, we compiled successfully. That's always a good thing. it is getting late. We're gonna have to end the stream soon. But let's see. Hey, Aka Ninja Gaming, how's it going? Okay, so let's add. Now we don't have any because we don't have any of these kinds of stuff. So go card management, and then we're gonna say card data assets. Now this is definitely going to be an asset type that we're going to have to be making a lot of. So we have card data asset. So I definitely would want to. So I have to make an ability set here. So what we're going to do, I can't always remember. Are you using AI for your code? From time to time, yeah, for autofilling, or I use ChatGPT sometimes, or the AI assistant in case I'm running into issues or something I don't understand, stuff like that. So I go to config, I know that. It's a default game? Let's see. Yeah, it's the right one. I think. Or maybe it's default engine? Or maybe default editor. Let's see. Yeah, AI is the greatest searching tool ever. I'm really liking the Google's AI stuff, the one that sums things up for you. Super convenient, honestly. Okay, so maybe let's close other tabs. Close. Maybe it's default editor. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're adding kind of a shortcut-ish kind of thing. So I know I'm going to be needing to create a bunch of base ability set kind of classes. So what I can do is add it to my default editor. In theory, it should show up now when I try to create a data asset. So now I should be able to right click, miscellaneous, data asset, and yeah, it doesn't show up. Why? What did I do wrong? Am I updating the wrong folder? No, Deck Knight. Gas course dot basic gameplay ability set, yeah, data asset. Is it not gas course? That's gas course. I don't think I need to put you gas course ability gameplay set. Honestly, I don't understand Unreal C++. I mean, it takes time, I started off with blueprints and I still use blueprints a lot. And knowing blueprints helps a little bit with the C++. Okay, so I'm not sure why that didn't work. Ah! What did I do? So for now, let's just create one here. So we're gonna call this B. So I don't know what we should call this. Like, so CAS for card ability set. Test card. Again, I don't know why this never really marks for add correctly. Get mark for add failed. Wow, like it just marks failing mark for add, which is annoying. I need to figure that out too. I don't think it shows up here. Like, yeah, this change where it sets up here, but maybe it's because it's a primary data asset. Just out of my own morbid curiosity. Let me see if that makes a difference if I mark it as primary. If it doesn't work, we know we'll live with it. I got the bad habit of overusing AI and I don't know how to stop it. Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky hole to avoid. You know, it's super convenient. You know, I've seen videos of people talking about you know, overusing it and you don't really know what you're doing, and then like you run into these errors and there's so much nuance in your code at that point. Like, at the very least, I don't think you should let AI kind of architect your data, I guess, in that way. So you always kind of know what you want to do and you know your aims. I don't know if I'm making sense in that. Yeah, that still didn't work, but that's okay. So here is our test card, and yeah, I don't think the card ability set is actually a primary data asset. It's our card that is the data asset. So that was just a wrong assumption here. And let's let's grant it a gameplay effect, right? So let's make a gameplay effect. Let's see, we have gameplay effect here. We're gonna say GE underscore test card buff. And let's say that this card has a duration of 10 seconds and it will modify the health. We'll say max health. We'll add 100 to it. Seems simple enough. Should be test card buff. Now, what I'll need to do in my player state. Okay, so switch to the Superior platform. YouTube comments are handicapped. Why not use VS Code with GitHub Copilot? I use it in all my projects. VS Code to hack workspace and review your full code base to make sure it's all good. Gemini 2.5 is Pro is amazing too. I agree, though, using it as a crutch doesn't help you grow at all because you're not actually learning. You're just asking somebody to do your homework. Well, I mean, I just prefer using Writer. I don't know if VS Code is a thing that could be hooked into Writer. And, you know, I just kind of got used to the tools that I'm using. So I guess that's my answer to that. But yeah, there's probably better other ways to do it. But yeah. So what can I try to do now? Because now we have the buff, right? So we have the player state. We have the deck manager component, but it doesn't have anything. Let's see, here's the card data asset as well. And this is empty. But I also have the data table full of everything. So should the card data asset have a reference to that table row, or yeah, I think I need to add that as well. So this asset needs to have, I guess, one new property, and it needs to be the, I don't remember how to write this either. It's like this variable type should be of like the row of that kind of table. So it has to be U data table. I think there's a way to reference the data table that's a specific type, right? Yeah, the music stopped playing. Hold on. Lola, the kitty thinks she's locked in the room with me, but clearly an open window right here she can go through. Let's see. We have to ask. There has to be a way of doing what I'm thinking of trying. I can't remember where I've seen it. I think I know. Let's see. New variable. Is it row? So let's see. So row, data table row handle. So with this variable type, obviously you guys won't be able to see this too well. I can then set it. So that variable type is what I need. Data table row handle. And I think I can scope it correctly. So is it F data table row handle part data? Now there has to be a meta specifier. It certainly doesn't help if you just copy and paste the code the AI wrote for you and move on, but if you can analyze the code, make changes if necessary, I think it's not bad. Yeah, that's like that's the key of it all, is understanding what you're doing, what you're asking, what information you're receiving, and then acting upon it in a way that makes sense in the context of what you're working on. I wonder if this meta specifier will work. So meta equals row type equals, and then so I'm hoping this will work. But yeah, after this compilation, after this comparison, double checking, we're gonna have to end the stream. So we'll continue stream for a couple more minutes here. Okay, so now, like we've been talking about, game, card management, card, test card, these are the ability sets. I should write this card, ability sets, card data. Now, again, new data asset, and card, right? So DT cards underscore test card, not DT, DA. Now it should be just this row asset variable, card data, this. Okay, so the data table is none. So I guess the meta specifier works. What is the row type that I need? Let's for now just do that, and then I promise that's the end of the stream. So now it's getting too dark, so you guys can't really see me too well. Let me see if these lights will do anything for us. That's better. Honestly, we're only streaming for a couple more minutes, so I don't know what the point of better lighting will be. Look at it as a metaphor. You have a table, but the card data asset doesn't know that table is structured. The easiest way to do it is to create a template, which would be the one all the cards use, and you would create a follow-up script to instant copies of this template, which would pull card data from different sources. To be honest, that metaphor didn't really help me, but it's okay. I'll figure it out. Because yeah, now we have DT cards, and then we have new row, right? New row is this one here. So we're going to say card 1. We have test card here. We're going to say my first. So card 1. Description is my first card. So now that's everything. Now we have this data table row. We're going to say card 1, yay, yay. And then now it's about granting it and activating the card. But that's where we're going to end it for today. We got a lot done, I think. You know, we're still in the very early stages here. I think we'll manage. So thanks everybody for watching. It's all very much appreciated. If you aren't already following me here on Twitch, a follow would be much appreciated. Definitely follow me on Discord as well. Thank you for that follow, NXH fam. You're going to create all of the cards. I'm hoping to create all the cards. We'll have to see. It's probably going to be a lot. Since there's some of us here, there's a good amount of people here, we can try to raid. We'll have to just double check. Raid. Lux. So if we can get at least 3 people to raid, that's perfect. If not, we'll cancel it. Looks like we got enough people. So yeah, thanks a lot everybody. Make sure to follow me on YouTube as well for more all this good stuff. So we'll probably be back on Thursday if we're lucky, and maybe sometime over the weekend. So you guys take care, you have a good night, and I'll see you soon.